good morning, good afternoon. My name is Lina Fortelius. I am working for the Science and Technical Assistance branch at the Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm Conventions. And today I wanted to do a quick overview of how to do the national report for the Stockholm Convention. And as the deadline for submitting national reports are upcoming in 31st August this year. And as you might see when later in my presentation, there might need to officials submitting the report might need some time to gather all information that is requested in the report. So welcome everyone. I'm happy to be with you today, and please feel free to use the chat if you have any questions, or also during the presentation. I will take some questions and answers once we come to the end of my presentation. And you may also use the chat to introduce yourself and tell us from where you are connecting. So with that, I will start. So first of all, I just wanted to give a quick overview of the Stockholm Convention. So as you know, there are a lot of articles with a lot of obligations for parties to the Stockholm Convention. And today we are focusing on Article 15, which pertains to reporting. So today I will talk about the need for national reporting. Why is reporting important? Our electronic reporting system with an overview of how the system functions, how to filling in the electronic tool, a general overview. We will not go into details. This presentation is for 30 minutes. And finally, a bit quickly on the dashboard that the Secretariat hosts on its website. So let's start by looking at why we need to report. Article 15 of the Stockholm Convention, you see here on the screen, requires each party to report periodically to the Conference of the Parties on the measures it has taken to implement the provisions of the Convention and on the effectiveness of such measures in meeting the objectives of the Convention. The second paragraph of Article 15 specifies certain information, including production, import, export, chemicals listed in Annex A and B. And however, the questions covered by the reporting format go far beyond these topics. So as you will notice in the next slide. The convention has also decided that the reporting should take place every 4 years. So if you are, for example, you're expected to report information for 4 years at each reporting round. And the deadline, as I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, for the sixth report is 31st August 2026, so this year. For submitting the reports, an electronic reporting system has been developed. It's already almost 10 years old, and it's for those of you that are also reporting for the Basel Convention, this might look very similar. And to help you out, each new national report is pre-filled with information from the previous reporting cycle. So you don't have to re-enter data that has not changed from previous years. You will need to enter data, and if previous data has been revised, for example, you will need to enter new data and if previous data has been revised. So for example, an inventory has been updated and data from previous periods modified with more accurate values, for example, or there are other corrections. You will need to replace the existing data with the revised information then. The reporting system is consistently maintained and updated to reflect changes in the convention. So the Secretariat updates the questionnaire to include any new chemicals and their reporting needs listed in Annexes A, B, and C to the convention between the reporting cycles. So for the sixth report, it has been updated to include the latest chemicals that were listed under the convention during the last two COPs. And two manuals have been developed to help parties in filling in the reports. One for the use of the reporting system and one assisting with the contents of the report. So for this year, the manual on how to fill in the report was updated in early 2026 and is available on our website for easy use, but it's only for the moment in English. So, why is reporting important? Reporting is an obligation under the Stockholm Convention, but in addition to that, it is also very useful for your country. So it is a checklist to follow how your country is meeting its obligations under the convention, also to identify gaps and priorities in implementation and help in updating the national implementation plan. So now that the convention finally has a compliance mechanism set up, reporting will also provide important inputs to its work as well. National reporting also provides input to several assessments that are carried out under the convention to monitor its efficiency. So these include the effectiveness evaluation every 6 years and monitoring the progress to phase out PCBs as well, and to phase out production and use of PFOS. Let's have a look at what kind of information is generally required in the reporting. So first and foremost, the convention requires implementation of prohibitions for production, use, import, and export. You need to review your national legislation, so new legislation or other measures to manage POPs at different stages of their life cycle are relevant and requested in the questionnaire. And your national implementation plan, hopefully up to date, and its updates are questioned in the report. So they also provide a useful source for filling in the report. The same can be said for any release, emission, or waste inventories your country has produced since the previous reporting. And you will also need the most recent data on production, import, export, use, or disposal of all POPs. There are some very general requests for information related to various articles of the convention, such as information exchange, public information, awareness and education, research, development and monitoring, technical assistance, financial resources and mechanisms, or the effectiveness evaluation. You and your colleagues may wish to, as national focal points, are probably well aware of any such activities in your country. So. Some of the needs for the report are qualitative and some are quantitative. So here is a summary of numerical information that you should try to identify. So source inventories and release estimates for the 6 chemicals or groups of unintentionally produced POPs in Annex C. I think it's 7. Well, I will get back to that. This information may not be available for all groups, but you do the best you can. Sometimes inventories are more detailed and sometimes could be more general estimates. And then production, use, import, and export data on the intentionally produced chemicals in Annex A and B or B. Start and end years for production and use, amounts, sources, destination, etc. And this information may be difficult to find, especially for chemicals that have not been produced in your country or that are not registered, as for example, pesticides usually are. But for pesticide, this is most often available. And then you have the PCB equipment, articles and materials in different concentration categories. So these data forms, the PCB inventory has a dedicated part in the questionnaire. Also, PCB waste managed in an environmentally sound manner is asked separately. So information on, and furthermore, information on production and use of PFOS is also sought in the questionnaire. And finally, the amount of POPs waste destroyed in your country, imported to and exported from your country. So the information that is needed for reporting will not be available in any single source, but the national focal point, who is usually responsible for filling in the report, will need to consult several sources for the information. So the main source is likely the National Implementation Plan, the NIPS, and especially if it has been updated recently in your country. And any additional inventories on uses, production, or emissions for POPs are useful as well if only available. So in case national inventories have not been prepared for a chemical, you can use the POPs inventory guidance document to figure out where the chemicals may have been used and identify the sectors who might have information on this. Annual reports and statistics published by other ministries and agencies can also be useful. So these could be example pollutant registries, pesticide statistics, and other statistics. So similarly, any POPs related project report by academia and other sector can be useful. Then you can also try to find information through in industry surveys, especially on local use. But availability of alternatives can also be important, but they might be difficult to get and sometimes confidential. Finally, it should be stressed that direct interviews with experts, whether from academia, industry, or trade, will be useful to understand what is going on in your country. So there is a lot to learn, and make sure you document this in the comment sections in the report to remember it in the next round. So whatever work you are doing like investigation work you are doing to find out useful information for the report, you can put in the comments. You can use it also for your own national. You can use it as a tool to remember for when you need to report in the next after 4 years to use the commenting box to remember who you, if you reached out to a certain ministry or if you've got some information from an academic report, it can be very useful for you. Reporting is, as I said, very closely linked to the National Implementation Plan. And on one hand, the NIP is an important source of information, taking stock of what is available and what is missing. Reporting requires you to provide detailed information on restrictions, including legislative references as well as data on available inventories. And filling in the reporting format is also a great way to get into touch with other authorities and experts in the country. On the other hand, the reporting format and the process in filling in the report can be used as a checklist to identify missing or incomplete elements in the NIP and national implementation. So when something that is needed in the reporting is not available in your country, you can include that in the next NIP update as an action item. Okay, let's now move into the electronic reporting system and its basic functions. So you can find the link to the current reporting cycle on the convention website under countries. And there is a sub-item called reporting and electronic reporting system. So please also note that on the left-hand side, there is a link to the guidance, which contains both user manual for the ERS reporting system, as well as a manual for the Article 15 national reports, which we mentioned earlier. And 2 accounts containing usernames and password have been sent to the official contact point by the Secretariat by email. The report can only be submitted from the OCP account, but the technical account can fill in the full questionnaire. So all the data can be filled out by the technical account, and but then the final submission has to be done through the OCP account. So in case you have lost the account login name or password, you can also find the account recovery functionality link, which will help you to get the login and password details. Just a comment here, if this tool is linked to what the country has reported as official contact points to the convention. So if you use an email address that is not recognized in the database and that the secretary holds for all the countries, you can check also on our website. We have a place where you can check all the country contacts that they are up to date, and the email will only be sent with the recovery password if you're using the same email as the Secretariat knows about. If you have updated an email address, you need to first contact the Secretariat to get that update included in the database before you can recover your password. But if you have issues, please also just contact me, and at the end of this presentation, there will be another email address that is directly linked to Stockholm reporting that can be used for questions related to this. After signing in, you can select the language for the report from the 6 UN languages. Let's now start filling in the reporting format. So when you get started, please review and update pre-filled data from previous reporting cycles. So for countries that reported in the 5th reporting cycle, you probably have everything up to date since the convention entered into force until 2022. Maybe even later if you submitted the 5th report after the deadline. Then please include new legislation and updated inventories or new inventories, and data and initiative on POPs, and ensure reports reflect cumulative information since entry into force. So when I say that the 6th report is for the last 4 years, that's how it works, that if a country has reported during every cycle, the report is cumulative and only the latest data needs to be entered. However, if a country did not report in the 5th cycle or even the 4th, please include the data for all the years that are missing. And also indicate the year of measures taken or data collected. So yeah, this I want to stress that if your country doesn't have a previous report, please complete the questionnaire in full, the best you can. I will also say that this questionnaire is very long. It has a lot of questions, and it's almost impossible for any country to complete the full questionnaire with having all the data in their country ready to be reported on. But the important thing is to complete the sections where you have data, and also for yourself, as I said previously, mark the gaps where your country is lacking. So that is an actional that is a good way to also for showing donors that, for example, for updates of the NIP, you can include an action plan, and excuse me, and put that as a priority for the future. So when you open the reporting format, you will see that it includes the information from previous rounds, if you reported in previous rounds, to help you with filling in the report. And for example, the bans and restrictions of old POPs may not need to be changed if they have been reported earlier and there is no change. So sometimes legislative references may need to be changed, but the information be otherwise kept the same. Each reporting cycle is also an opportunity for you to update previously provided information, and if necessary, to correct previously reported data to create a single complete report. And here is an overview about the reporting system. So on the left-hand side, you can see the side toolbar where you can access all 24 different parts of the report. And these parts are explained in detail in the manual for national reporting. And please note that the page numbering has 25 pages, as the intro page is page number 1. And the top toolbar contains links that will take you to the previous or next page of the ERS while saving your content. So here you can also find links to download the document. And in this page, there will be 2 links. You can either download the full report, and that is not filled in, that could be shared with colleagues in ministries, or you could download the filled in questionnaire for your country. So this is something that has been updated. There is also the logout button when you are done. And one of the features of the ERS is that it will automatically log you out after a period of inactivity. The Secretariat has worked on this to try to extend this time, and also to nowadays have a warning message to warn you before you are logged out, so you don't lose data on the page that you are working on for the moment. But please, but the data that if you click next page, the data that you filled in on the previous page should automatically be saved. So I think this is a bit a repetition on what I just said. There are 2, you can download the report in 2 ways. You can download the country questionnaire, which is showing all the pre-filled information, or the information that the country has so far reported. And or you can download it as an empty Word document by pressing the download empty questionnaire. And you can also export data from individual tables to Excel by pressing the export to Excel link. One of the features of the electronic reporting system is that each question, where relevant, there is a link, and the link may pop up as text of the convention or other clarifications, which will help you to easily find the context and the associated section in case you need more information on the requirements. Excuse me. As mentioned before, the user interface of the electronic reporting system is dynamic. So some questions offer multiple choice questions, and the user can select the most suitable answer out of a list of options, which may then open additional questions. And for example, if a question requires you to answer, like here, yes, currently being developed, or no, once you select your answer, there could be additional questions appearing. In case your answer is yes, you will be expected to give additional information on what has been done. And in case your answer is no, you may be requested to specify the reasons why nothing has been done. For example, there is a lack of institutional or policy framework, financial resources, human resources, or technical capacity. And the reporting format will then present the relevant sub-questions or parts for you to provide the additional details on that. It is important to bear in mind that the questionnaire contents depends on the answers. So the questions that depend on your answers will not be visible in the document you download. So in practical terms, the meaning of that is that you need to print out the empty Word document to see all the questions, but without any answers. But then you can see 8 ones, for example, because it depends. If you had clicked yes, you would get an 8-1 continuing on the yes answer, and you could see the 8-1 for the no. So that is something that is also when you download the empty document, please bear in mind that there are some questions that are shown both the dynamic yes and no continuing question. The system will guide you at all times on how to fill in the questionnaire. So it will warn you when it detects missing or incorrect forms of data when clicking the check for errors button. So there is this check for errors button on top of the page always. And this is just an informational warning, so it will not prevent you from moving to another page or to submit your report. However, a few quality control measures were included in the reporting cycle questionnaire to avoid basic mistakes and at the data entry. And in this section, you enter contact information on the official contact points and national focal points to the convention in your country. But since this questionnaire and since the 5th reporting cycle, the Secretariat is pre-filling data from the Secretariat database. So you cannot change the information here as you do for under the Basel Convention. You need to contact the Secretariat and change the information through another channel. So what you see on the first page is what we have in our database. And then you can, if anything is not correct, you need to contact the Secretariat separately to do those updates and changes. This was done because the Stockholm Convention National Report is only submitted every 4 years, while the Basel Convention National Report is submitting every year. And it's easier for the Secretariat to make sure that no report that is submitted years later than the deadline is not with updated information on the national contact point or focal point gets under the radar. So the Secretariat restricted the information filling in the questionnaire itself. So once the information on the report has been compiled, reviewed, and the reporting format satisfactory filled in, the official contact point can submit it to the Secretariat and accompanied with any additional notes or supporting documentation added in the previous section. So you for the sixth report, countries can now add up to 5 more files. Before it was only one supporting document that could be uploaded. And please note that the submission is not available for the national focal point. So if you are logged in as a technical person or national focal point, there is no risk of submitting the report by accident during the process because it is not possible. But the deadline for the sixth report is set to 31st August 2026. And it's recommended that you reserve a few weeks of time at least in your calendars for filling in for the consultation with your experts and for the review, including the time for the OCP to review the material. So final words about filling in the report. The reporting format is long and has many questions and lots of data needs. So it takes time to sit down and think what is it that the question actually is asking. And try to respond to all questions to the best of your knowledge. Even partial answers can help. No party has all the information requested, and sometimes you just have to wait for future projects to start. But it's important that you're clear with where the gaps are, and even a small piece of information may be seed for future work. So use the comment fields to add relevant background information and links. It will be very useful in the future, both for the Secretariat, but also for your country. And it could well be yourself looking at the reporting format 4 years later. And once there is transparency on why my country has answered to this question in a certain way, it will save a lot of time in the next round. And take also note of information you do not have. So make sure to raise those issues once your NIP will be updated. So gaps in reporting data make a great and well-justified action item to seek funding. Let's have a look at the reporting dashboard, which give you an easy access to all the information submitted by the parties in different reporting rounds. So the Stockholm Convention's reporting dashboard can be used to visualize data from the submitted national reports, and you can get easily understandable maps and tables created based on the information submitted by the parties using the electronic reporting system. And the reporting dashboard is divided into sections or questions similarly to the ERS. So you can choose the reporting cycle that suits your needs, the regions of the world you're interested in, or even the countries for which you want to see the data. And there are other filters also available depending on the questions and tables and which section you are looking at. It's also possible to download data as an Excel file, which may be helpful if you want to use the data in your own documents or make searches for your own needs. Now there are also a few Excel tables that can be downloaded in raw so that you don't have the Yeah, how it looks like the Excel file that you can download is usually downloaded in a way that it looks as it looks on the website. But for a couple of questions, the Secretariat has added the raw version for more easily analytical tasks. And here you can see an overview of the dashboard and how to access the information given by parties on different questions. There are some general level ready-made outputs under overviews. And for example, overview 6, general report on information submitted by parties, is another way of accessing the information in the report section by section. And you can see how many countries have responded to each question and also a summary of responses. And direct access to questions is under Part B. So if you want to look for example, at the information on intentional production and use, Article 3, responses to questions 5 to 7 in the reporting format, you expand the section 2 using the little black arrow, and then you can select the question and choose the output you want. And if you choose any of the 5 overviews, you may limit the countries and often choose the kind of an output you want to have. So table, map, or chart. And this is some data that the Secretariat has collected through the national reports that have been submitted. So, for example, this is an overview of parties that reported producing or not producing POPs from before 2004 to 2018, compiled from national reports and national implementation plans. So this is both using data from the 5th reports and also from the national implementation plans the Secretariat has available. And another example is the global annual production of DDT since the year the Stockholm Convention entered into force. This data graph is using data both from the national report and also from the report, the specific DDT questionnaire that parties that are using or producing DDT are filling out before each COP. And this is just the statistics on how parties have been reporting until now. So as you can see, the green bar is showing parties that reported on time before or at the deadline of the report. How many parties reported late, and the total submission of reports. So for the 5th cycle, a bit over 50% of parties reported. And for this 6th cycle, the Secretariat has a goal to make sure that we reach more than that. So hopefully also on time. You can see that the 2nd cycle and the 5th cycle, parties reported more parties reported on time. And I'm really hoping that with this webinar and with the guidance that we have on our website, that countries may try to report before the deadline 31st August, as the data that is reported in the national reports are then used in many documents that will be submitted to the COPs. So many working groups and expert groups and are analyzing data from the submitted national reports to give their advice to the COP that will be held in Panama in April 2027. With that, this is the end of my presentation. So thank you very much for listening in today. I'm very grateful to be here with you, and I'm available for questions now, or then you can also reach out to me by lina.fortelius@un.org, or to the MEA VRS SC reporting@un.org. These two emails you can use to if you have any questions or any concerns or any errors that are not working in relation to the electronic reporting system or the website. So I will see if there was any comments in the chat. So I have one question in the chat saying, where are content-wise the differences between the national reporting and the NIPs? Good question, and I see also I have one online from Indonesia. So I will first try to answer the question on the difference between national reporting and the NIPs. So the NIPs is a national implementation plan on how the country will follow the convention. And the national report is then asking that information. So the NIPS is more of a plan, in a national plan on how to implement the convention, and then the report then asks for the results. If you see, so you have a plan on how to implement, and then report is asking how it has been going until now. But then you have, of course, a few parts that differs a bit, but most of them are very going hand in hand. I hope that answered the question. Okay, I would want to give the floor to, I cannot see the full name, but please go ahead, delegate from Indonesia.
Thank you. Lina, for the comprehensive presentation. Actually, I have a few questions from your presentation. My first question is regarding the submission process. So I'm just wondering if member parties have to send the file of the report following the filling of from the electronic system. For example, like after we submit through the system, do we have to download the file and then send it as a file to the Secretariat? And also, do we need to sign of the documents, or basically we can just submit fully through online? So that's my first question. Another question is, I think you mentioned that there will be, so the system will prevent you from the unexpected submission. But my question is it possible, for example, we already submit, but then we realized that, oh, there's some error in our submission, and we would like to revise whether that's possible in the system, or do we have to request to the Secretariat to open I don't know, the system again so that we can submit. Uh, and also the mechanism of the submission itself. I was wondering if, for example, like we fill in the questionnaire and then does the Secretariat will do the revision, for example, like review, for example, like oh, this is already suffice or already enough to be sent fully, then you can send the final submission, for example, or do for or basically there is no such mechanism. So basically, once we submit, then it's final. So that's my question. Another question is regarding the question in the questionnaires. Is there any updated um, questions compared to the previous cycles? I think those are my question at the moment. Thank you, Lina.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your very important questions. I'm very happy to go into these. I would start to remember all of them. So first of all, for submitting the report, no, you don't have to print it out or sign it or send it to the Secretariat once you have submitted it online, because there is this mechanism that only the official contact point can submit it. So by doing that distinction between the two accounts, so you have the technical account that can fill in the full questionnaire, but they cannot at any point submit it. And then you have the OCP account, which then makes sure that the country, it's kind of the signature, right? That it's only the OCP that can click submit electronically, and that is how the Secretariat can sort of help countries to make sure that the report is submitting through the right channels. So that is the first question, I think. Then the second one was, please come
My,
in.
my my second question is if we already submit and then
Yes.
there is some revision,
Yeah.
can we still?
Thank you. So for already submitted reports, the country can, of course, let the Secretariat know that there was a mistake, and the Secretariat can reopen the questionnaire. But if we reopen the questionnaire, it means that it's not longer submitted. So the submission date is erased. The country can do the change and then make sure to resubmit. Because the Secretariat will not do that for the country. Then once we release the report, you need to resubmit with the updated data. So that is a very good question. And then thirdly, you asked about
The updated question,
yes.
if there's any.
So for yes, there are several updated questions. So there are a few chemicals added to under the POPs, the mostly listed POPs, and also there is an updated table under the PCB section, and there is a few other smaller updates, but they are more for the user friendliness of the report. And on the first page of the report, there will be an overview where the Secretariat presents all the updates so that the countries can pay extra attention on those. But there has been no added question more than for the updated chemicals. So the report in that way is all the same. And then finally, for the Secretariat, if there is a Secretariat review, the Secretariat reviewed the fifth report. So all countries that submitted a fifth report before end of 2025, all reports were reviewed by the Secretariat, and our feedback was sent to the countries when we sent the credentials and the invitation to report for the sixth cycle. So there you have for countries that reported in the fifth report, that is one way of getting some review from the Secretariat. However, once you start filling in the report but have not yet submitted, the Secretariat can access that information. We can see that information. So if a country wishes, they say, we have now filled in the report. Could the Secretariat please let us know if there is anything that you see, and any comments you may have on it, you may do so. So we can also go through the questionnaire and give you feedback. But that usually it has to be request directly from the party before you submit the report. We will not do it automatically.
Thank you,
Okay, I
Lina.
see
Thank
another.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I see another hand raised. So we have Delegate Monapul Matar, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think my question is on the lack of available data. I think that's one of the challenges that we have, that we don't have a lot of data to support the submission. I just wanted to check what is the risk of this, and will that also allow for secondary submission based on the data as we receive it? What is the plan on that one? Thank you.
Sorry, so you said there when there is a lack of when there is when a country has a difficulty
Yes.
to get data, the
Yes.
question was, can you please repeat?
Yeah. So the question is, what is the risk on that?
Well, yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of countries that do not have inventories or all the data that the report is asking. And as I said in my presentation, one way to deal with this is there is this POPs inventory guidance document where the first step of evaluating of sort of having some data is just to sit down and talk to colleagues or just talk to yourself and ask, do we have this chemical in our country, and who may use this chemical in our country, which like industry, for example. And the baseline is basically just to answer that question, do we have this chemical in our country? Is it possible that we would have this chemical in a country in products, or is it some kind of industry that is using it, or is there any other authority that would be needing this chemical, and sort of just to do a desk analysis that may not be based on how do you say quantitative data, but more like to start the thinking process. So there are ways to report on many of these questions on a very basic level as a first base. If your country has a difficulty in having already done inventories and other research studies. I see we have Shiba Khan. Yes, could also try to. I unfortunately the Secretariat cannot unmute you, but I see that we have the question now in the chat. So we are collecting data for the questions in Part B, Section 2. Currently, I hear you. Please go ahead, Shiba Khan. Oh, now you're muted again, but I could hear you just before.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes,
good
we hear
morning.
you. Good morning.
Yeah, the thing is that we are trying to collect data for the questions in Part B, Section 2 about the chemicals. We do not have any exemptions right now for any of the chemicals listed. But I wanted to know what exactly is the difference between the choices given: restriction in accordance with Annex A, prohibition of production, uses, import, export. Because this covers, if we say restriction is in accordance with Annex A, then it covers production, uses, import, export, because we do not have any exemptions. So what should we choose? Because in the last report, somebody filled it somewhere. She put use prohibition or uses, somewhere she put on export, something like that. But the restriction is in accordance with the Annex A for the chemicals that were there in the last cycle, ERS 5. So yeah.
Yes, a very good question, indeed. So I would try to just see the question myself. I think if I find it. Well, I think that, yeah, here. So, yes, so for each chemical, you have the restriction in accordance with Annex A, prohibition on production, prohibition on all uses, prohibition on import or on export, currently being developed. So, if there is the prohibition on all uses, you don't have to click the production, import, export. And then restriction in accordance with Annex A, then that is so it depends on each chemical what your country has done for each. So sometimes you may wish to tick several boxes, but usually but in many cases there can be only one tick boxes, but that is it's a bit hard for me to give you an example up front because there are so many different scenarios. But we can also be in touch afterwards. You can send me an email and we can look into your case specifically if it's unclear. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing is, where can I find the dashboard that you explained in the
Yes.
presentation? Yeah.
Well, what I could do is I could try to show you. Let's see if I could share my screen, and I could see. Share. So when you go to our website, www.brsmeas.org, I will try to make my screen a bit bigger if I can. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here you have one link for things related to all three conventions, including the COPs. Then you have Basel Convention, Rotterdam Convention, and Stockholm Convention. And if you click on the Stockholm Convention, you find the link here, countries. And under countries, you have reporting. And under reporting, you can also find directly the link to electronic reporting system and the data visualization reporting dashboard. But I will go to reporting here. And then you have all the same links here. So here you have the national reports from previous years, and you also have the report button for the sixth report, and a link to download the latest, the updated manual to how to fill in the report. And then here below you have the access of submitted fifth national reports and fourth, third, all of them. And then here you also have the data visualization, the dashboard, and a link here below that you click on, and then you come to the dashboard. That is how it works.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? If not, thank you so much for being with me here today. I'm very, very happy for the questions, and please do not hesitate reaching out to me, to the Secretariat, with any questions you may have related to the national report. If you missed some part of this, the Secretariat will also put a recording on our website of one of our English versions of these webinars that will be shared with anyone to go back to later. But thank you so much. Wishing you a nice continuation of the day or good evening, and And I'm looking forward to receiving your reports.
Thank you, Lina.
Thank you. Bye.